Morning, everybody. Feel like the father of the bride after coming up with a guy had a drink in his hand just then. So, John Cassidy is my name. I lead our European business. We're new guys on the block, so we're delighted to be here with Justin and the team. We just onboarded those guys as our distributor for the UK. So again, thank you for taking time out. I know that time is a precious commodity. I'm just going to set the scene for you, who we are, what we're seeing in the market, and why would you partner with us. Really, at the end of the day, you want to know what's in it for you guys. A little bit about the organisation. We're a global business. So we're out of Silicon Valley, Redwood City in California, just outside San Francisco. We've got sales footprint throughout North America. We run our Asia Pacific business out of our Tokyo operation. And I run our Europe, Middle East and Africa business out of our Dublin operation. So the guy from Cork's not here on his own today, so that's glad to see that. We also have a development and our support teams that are again throughout North America and Asia and the Middle East. And typically, a note here is that these guys work for us. We don't third party or we don't outsource any of our support on our R&D, which I think is critical today. And certainly the feedback we're getting from the users of our product, that they really like that intimate model that the guys are dealing with, work directly for ourselves. These guys weren't on Crime Watch last week, even though with some of the haircuts you probably would think they are. But the reason I put these guys up is to give you an understanding of the DNA of the organisation. James Sokas is our chairman. We're an extremely well-funded organisation, even though we're just over 3 years old. James is our chairman, and he's also a partner with Opdata VC. They have $500 million invested in 30 technology companies, of which we're one of those companies. James was the Vice President of Acquisition with Symantec. Paul was the CEO of WebRoot. And Oscar, who was the founder of our company, came via Microsoft, Novell, and also he was the chief architect at M86, where he designed the Web Marshal and the Mail Marshal products. So we're not a group of techies that jumped into security. We're a group of security guys that founded a business and decided that this is the best place to go. Little put that I put in here, we are 100% SaaS, so we're cloud 100% through and through. And this was written a little earlier in the year from, again, one of the periodicals in the industry, to basically say that here in the UK, and very specific to the UK, this market space is going to grow 50% year on year. And I think what we're seeing, we did IP Expo a couple of weeks ago, and when we hear customers coming to talk to us, I think cloud and a year ago would have been a different story. People have had to worry about the cloud, not so sure. I think this year we've seen a light switch go off. I think the work that people like Salesforce, NetSuite are doing, Office 365, cloud is now becoming an integral part of what organisations are doing, and a natural step now is to look at what security applications can be delivered from the cloud. A little bit about our product then. The iSheriff suite is 4 products in one. On the web filtering side, we compete with WebSense, WebRoot, our colleagues at Barracuda. On the endpoint side, with all of the 29 vendors, both on-premise and in the cloud. And on an email and email archiving side, we come up against Mimecast, Bluecoat, Message Labs, or any of those hosted emails that you see today. One of the significant differences, this is done in a single interface. So all of those products can be managed through one portal. That's very, very scalable, and it's very, very powerful. A lot of the things that we saw at IP Expo I'll share with you in a minute, but certainly being cloud-based and SaaS-based, we use that technology to leverage the use and the ease of what we're doing. We run this through our own global network. We've got 34 data centers globally. Here in London, we're in Telly City, over in Canary Wharf. We have a major POP then throughout every major capital in Europe, North America, and the Middle East. That's interconnected by a 3.5 terabyte private backbone, which we don't share on the public internet. We've got 1,000 ingress points, so from our web filtering, if you're a global organisation, your executives are moving around. We also authenticate to the nearest POP, so they're protected wherever they are on the globe. We're 100% channel partner. At IP Expo, we did a lot of press. We're not hybrid. We don't believe in limited nominated accounts. We don't talk directly to the end user. Talk to a gentleman outside earlier. That's not our game plan. That's not where we want to go. We want value-added vendors. I was talking to some of the guys outside about what is the differential in the market today between one reseller and the other. And what I'm looking for is people that understand the cloud, the power of where the technology is going, understanding that adding a different value proposition today, other than selling boxes or technology, is where the key is for what we see and where we want to partner. We're on the G Cloud framework. I've just signed off on G7 and G8, so we've been on that portal on our own. We're mid-market focused typically, so that's a big paintbrush if you want to use that as an analogy, but typically we sit in the sub 20,000 seat market space. And to give you a reflection on that, we've got people like Aberdeen County Council, got 15,000 seats, 148 schools throughout the county, and we've got people like Toyota with 300 users. So we've got a very scalable business, but typically in that sweet spot. As a business that's just under 3 years old, we've got 7,000 customers with 6 million users. So we've already got a very substantial user base of people that believe the cloud, and the way of the cloud is the way to go. The competition, the opportunity here for partners when we talk to them is very, very unique in terms of when you sell our product, you've got an opportunity to sell 3 products. So when we talk to partners that want better margin, they want ARPU, they want to increase the added value when they're selling, we can identify that some of those customers that you can see there on the web filtering side, on an email, we can work, when we get an email inquiry if somebody's got IronPort, we then have a conversation about what's happening on the endpoint, what's happening on the web filtering. So for partners that we work with, they like the opportunity, if someone does talk about an endpoint opportunity, it leads to a conversation about web filtering, and it then also leads to a conversation about email and our email archiving. So you get really 3 opportunities to sell once we get our foot in the door. I suppose the key messages for us, we're trying to keep this simple. It's a very margin-rich product. Partners throughout the UK are telling us traditional endpoint products today cost +5, cost +6 if you're lucky. We're margin rich. Typically our partners are getting between 20 and 30% on what they sell. We've got a deal registration in place, which is very, very good. And we've got a multi-product discount available. You can buy the suite as one product, or if you wish, you can componentalize that and buy the product in web filtering on its own, AV or email on its own. We try and stay away from just selling on price because, again, as I mentioned earlier, we want to use the power of the cloud. We believe that the technology and added value is the way to go. We don't want to play. There's a lot of our partners, which I'm seeing throughout the UK and throughout Europe right now, don't want to lead with AV. And it's not that AV is dead, I think it's become a commoditized entity. And the intelligence is around what's happening in web filtering, how do I protect remote users, what do I do about workforce that's out and about, and particularly with email as well. So we're seeing more of an intelligence from the partners coming back, and then obviously we can bring the AV conversation in, which seems to be the way that what I'm seeing throughout the UK and Europe is the way that it's going. But we always like to say we're very commercially driven as a young business, so always ask before you lose on price. The price book, a lot of numbers up there, but really the key is we've only got 20 SKUs. As I mentioned, we're a subscription-based business, so you can buy the product for 1 year or 3 year, you can buy the product as a multi-tier, or you can buy it as an individual opportunity. We like to keep that simple. We're trying to take the complexity out of end user, pricing for SOHO, enterprise. If you've got a particular opportunity, we'll do a bid price on that and we can work with you. Nearly finished. 2 things that we do, really like the VB100. This is a non-pay-to-play. We put the product in every quarter to be assessed. And in the last 2 years, we've scored in the upper quadrant of that. The report is free to download, which we also encourage anybody to take a look at before they buy us. And again, we're very, very happy. Just before we had IP Expo a couple of weeks ago, a number of people have already talked about the power of SC Magazine. We had a significant product review just in August that said we were one of the most unrivaled multi-layer protection vendors that are out there today, and that we are a really significant alternative to host-based security today. So again, we encourage you to take a look at that review. It's on their website, and by the way, it's on our website as well. But again, it's great to get that third-party endorsement for somebody as credible as SC Magazine, and that has really worked very well for us, particularly here in the UK. Done.
Thank you.